Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah. A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Honest J. Nowak. Now here on Honest J. Nowak, I'm going to go ahead and talk about threads. Now, I still gotta really be honest about the emotions part. It was still kind of, well, very emotional for me. I'm still trying to recover from that part, but I'm just gonna move on, so that's that. So to talk about threads themselves and the way that they actually work, I do happen to have a lot to talk about for those. So you might want to buckle down and get yourself situated as comfortably as possible. So in terms of threads and the way that they happen to play a good role in the way that they happen to be used in making certain clothing out there, including underwear, shirts, pants, socks, conventional socks that is, but moving on. Threads, of course, do happen to really bring a good type of bond together, a natural bond that can pretty much withstand a lot of force, but of course, depending on how cheaply or expensively they happen to be constructed, threads of all sorts, if they're single stitched, double stitched, triple stitched, quadruple stitched, quintuple stitched, sextuple stitched, and all of the above, I feel that there's always a likelihood that you get yourself clothing that can come apart. So, in terms of this, this is spandex, so I guess that's another subject I can talk about later. So, going back to threads though, I do happen to have a lot of clothing that happens to at least to be double stitched or even triple stitched. I don't know if you can probably see it, but it's there. It's all done in a bit of a zigzag pattern so it can get both the seams and the ends of the fabric itself to lock together really firmly without any chance that they might come apart. So, those kind of threads, of course, in modern day clothing fabrication, it does play a pretty important role to have your product as tight a seam as possible. As tight of a seam can possibly be. No matter how many times you stitch it or how many times you happen to pretty much put it all together, I do happen to find a lot to work on at that point. So in terms of all of this that I happen to be referring to, there's always a likelihood that clothing of all sorts happen to be stitched differently. Now in terms of pants right here, these are once again constructed from spandex, so they're so stretchy. Probably part golden silk in it, because it's even more stretchy than spandex. So I guess that's another thing about it that I could probably just go ahead and cross off the list. But then again, there's still more things about threads themselves. Threads and needles now. Of course, they can be a pretty dangerous weapon too. But believe it or not, it's another thing out there that should be addressed. Anyone who does happen to stitch clothing for a living, please be careful with your needles. It's probably best that if you probably use a machine sewer or something. So this way you can get yourself a good seam put together without hurting your hands. Now, of course they can be kind of expensive, but machines themselves happen to do much better work than ordinary human machines, such as your hands. Now, I guess there's really not much else I can probably go ahead and talk about this, but if you're not really a tailor, or if you are a tailor, then well, you probably go ahead and drop me a line in the comment section below, or do something else that you probably go ahead and talk with me about, based on the kind of many stories that out there that happen to attribute to your everyday lifestyle. But of course, people out there who are currently watching my channel and are still wanting to know if they want to have any more to look at, then well, just have some patience, because of course it does take some minutes just to put everything together, but I don't have all the time in the world to be able to put every single episode in one season together. I've still got more than 600 episodes left to make. I'm dead serious. Season 1 itself is going to be a really big boatload of work, or even a train load. And I don't know really much else vehicles out there that are even larger than that. But In any case, I still do hope that you happen to enjoy Honest Jane Nowak at its finest. So, if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.